up guys, Draco2020 here, and today we're to talk about the realms of Genshin Impact. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Alright, first we're going to talk about terminology, specifically the Chinese language. Because in the Chinese language, there are multiple words for world, and that's important because, as you can see right here, world is present several different times with different symbols representing different things. In the Chinese language, each symbol or combinations of symbols have separate meanings from each other. So the fact that they utilize the word world in multiple different ways in the same text means that they're referencing different things. And today, we're going to be talking about this symbol right here. This symbol means world, but not world as in planet, even though, yeah, it could be used for that. But in terms of like cosmology or referencing different planes of existence, that's what this symbol is meant for. This is mainly important because in the Chinese version of the intro of the game, this symbol is present, meaning the traveler isn't from another planet or even a universe, they're from a different plane of existence. In Buddhist mythology, there are three realms: the heaven, the human, and the hell realms. And in Genshin Impact, there is a light, the human, and the void realm, or the dark realm, or the abyss. On screen, you should be seeing the symbols associated with each name. The symbol that I mentioned earlier is present. And finally, let's talk about the descender statement. This symbol is also present in the descender statement. This took months for me to find because I had to figure out how to get this mission, but here it is on screen right now. So when they say a descender can create a world, destroy the world, rival the world, they're not talking about the planet, they're not even talking about the universe, they're talking about plane of existence. And since the first descender created the human realm and then the universe, rather than just creating the planet and that being the human realm, they created everything else, including the universe. Let's talk about the creation of the universe. On screen, you should be seeing Genshin Impact's version of Genesis and John chapters 1 verses 1. That's important because in Genesis, God spoke the universe into existence. In the Simulanka, in order to manipulate the realm, characters had to speak certain things into existence. This explained why during the Soy Boy fight, he kept talking a bunch of crap to Mafuika. He was directly trying to manipulate the realm and then manipulate her, because that's most likely how he manipulates the Void Realm, by speaking things into existence. The reason why I bring this up, because Adeptus and Illuminated Beast are considered gods, and yokai are akin to the Adeptus. One of the Adeptal arts is realm creation. Morax illuminated the Adeptus. The definition of illuminated is light up, and the first descender who created the universe lit themselves aflame. Most likely Zhongli was teaching a group of people certain abilities from the Gnosis. That's important because the Gnosis is a piece of the third descender and is powered by the first. That means Adeptus and yokai should be capable of replicating what the first descender did, both creating the human realm and the universe afterwards. I say all of this because Madame Ping created 3 realms, gave the traveler the keys, and we see how the traveler is able to create more realms. Need something to act as the foundation. With the information that we now know about Simulanka, you have to speak it into existence. We know what the foundation of the universe is. Genesis crystals. It's literally called Genesis crystals. And they can be turned into primogems, which are stated to contain the hopes and dreams of universes that once were. Hopes, dreams, that sounds like spirit energy, aka the power of wishes, which I go over in this video right here. Before we end the video, I have to mention one last thing. On the wiki, it says that the human realm's ley lines are analogous to the dark currents within the abyss and the elemental currents within the light realm. Notice what it says there. It says current. That could be talking about electricity, liquid, or gas. All things must pass through the primordial sea first before going into the abyss, just like the ocean. Both the primordial sea and the abyss are both stated to be a collective consciousness meshed together into one thing. The power of water is the ability to take any shape. Abyss mimics are capable of turning into anything into that. And the primordial sea is literally shown to be like water. The light realm, or the realm of the bishops, is stated to be the origin of all elemental energy, and Phlogiston is stated to be the basis of all elemental energy. Finding one person in the vast ley line system is like finding one drop in a rushing stream. All 3 entities are described to be like fluids, and they are all analogous to each other. I want you to think about this for a second. Compare the water currents within the Great Lakes to the water currents within the Pacific Ocean or even the Atlantic Ocean. It's not even comparable in the slightest, meaning that the 3 have to be similar in size in order to be analogous with each other. Based off of statements, that would put the light realm, the dark realm, and the human realm's ley lines infinite in size or have infinite energy flowing through these entities. So being able to manipulate any one of these things will require infinite energy. Mahwika and the Paranosis are both stated to be able to manipulate or sustain the ley lines. Nahida and the Dendronosis are both connected to Irming-Soul, of which the ley lines are its roots. In order for these entities to manipulate the ley lines, they have to rival the ley lines' power, which is infinite. Archons are capable of manipulating the ley lines. 2 Archons created one realm each, the realm of consciousness and the plane of euthymia. The Adeptus are illuminated entities just like the first Descender, and yokai are stated to be akin to the Adeptus. What makes an Adeptus is how much Adeptus blood they have in their system, not how much power they have. And it is stated that humans are capable of rivaling the Adeptus. The Adeptus get their power from the light realm. One of the adaptable arts is realm creation. A human created a realm, the Simulacra. All of these entities have the power of a Descender, and in order to even access, let alone create these realms, you have to have the power of a Descender. Since normal people aren't able to access these realms and all these other entities that can have infinite power, you need infinite power to create a realm, because all realms are infinite in size, and you need infinite power to create an infinite realm. I was right! I was right! Listen to me very carefully. I have the power of God and anime on my side. Literally. Because none of this would be happening if my computer charger didn't fail. This video would have been Our Realms of Infinite in Size Part 2, and Empower Characters in Genshin Impact Part 4 would have been something else entirely. So I just decided to make this Power Characters in Genshin Impact Part 4. If anyone beyond this point says that any of the top tier characters in the game are mountain level, island level, or continental, I want you to treat that person like they're on crack, heroin, and flocka. I want you to slowly back away, turn around, run, don't walk away. Because that person is crazy. Let's talk about Lumine. Lumine has been trying to revive the homeland, aka Khaenri'ah, and the only way she thought that was possible was by rebuilding Khaenri'ah's ley lines. That's what the Loom of Fate was for. However, Khaenri'ah's ley lines were completely destroyed to nothing, and you can't create something from nothing. You need something to create something else. So the plan was to use the last remaining Khaenri'ahs as flash drives, using their memories to recreate the ley lines. Then she placed New Khaenri'ah in this atlas, and this atlas contains a realm, and it's described to be its own space-time, or a different plane of existence. This atlas is what changed the video, because it's very similar to the Serenity Pot. Lumine uses an Intivac as the foundation for this new realm, just like the Traveler and Madame Ping for the Serenity Pot. The difference between the Atlas and the Serenity Pot is that the Atlas contains its own ley lines and the Serenity Pot is using Tavac's ley line, meaning there is an infinite construct within this infinite realm, putting it at a higher level of infinity than the Serenity Pot. Realms within the Serenity Pot could be made on a whim, versus the Atlas, it required prep time. By the way, Lumine is the twin sister of the 4th Descender, of which being a Descender is a biological aspect, and she is called the Savior. Do I even need to say it? Genshin Impact continues to use Christianity as inspiration for the powers of a Descender. John chapter 7 verse 38. Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water. I want you to keep that in mind for the next part, because I recorded it before this part. Alright, so this next part of the video came from Skirk's story event. In her story event, we enter a place called her inner world. This is her inner world's depiction. It is not a planet or just life in general. It's actually depicted to be like a universe, and as I described in the first part of the video, it is not a planet or just life in general. This is very similar to what we see in the Raiden Children's story quest with Makoto's realm of consciousness, because what we see is a physical representation of Skirk's mind. This is a realm of consciousness, and Skirk is so powerful, she has an entire universe in her own mind. Even though universes aren't infinite in size, they will expand outward to infinity. So creating an ever-expanding universe is an argument for infinite AP. In Skirk's inner realm, it is shown to be the size of a universe. The Primordial Sea is a massive collection of multiple consciousness, and is represented through the element of hydro. In Skirk's realm of consciousness, we literally see a river flowing through her mind. That is her spirit energy. and is depicted to be like a liquid or water. In Hu Tao's Burst, she is literally grabbing a ghost, infusing it with pyro, and using it as a weapon to knock the soul out of her opponent. That is a type of durability negation, and is why she was the hardest hitter for the longest time. We see Miko is capable of opening up a portal and sending spirits to the afterlife. Elemental energy and spirit energy are one and the same. Whether the Traveler is Archon level or not is no longer a discussion. He has surpassed the power of an Archon and is now moving towards the next tier, the Four Shades. With Lumine wanting to address the Heavenly Principles as equals, Sir Loki fiending for the Heavenly Principles like an inmate straight out of maximum security prison for the person who put them there. Skirk needing to beat Sherlogi because of his promise that he made to her, saying one day he will return to Skirk for an all-out battle against her, resulting in one of their deaths. We have to now ask, who is still relevant in a fight against the Heavenly Principles? The first two people that come to mind is the Ren Shogun and Malfuika. I've already talked about the Ren Shogun's strength in the previous video, and pretty much concluded that the Traveler when he fought her was completely out of his league, and she was strong enough to beat him while he was using the power of friendship. And the only reason why he won is because Yanmiko was there, and she just gave him the win. Then went on to unlock her true potential in the realm of consciousness, and A was strong enough to fight the Ren Shogun, while the Ren Shogun was using Archon of the 7 power, and A was in base. This easily puts her in the discussion. As for Malfuika, she was capable of fighting the strongest Abyss Mimic, who had the power of a Dragon Sovereign without the authority of their element, along with every Pyro Archon that had ever existed, minus the first Pyro Archon. It is implied that if the Traveler wasn't there, Malfuika would have won the fight against Soyboy, but lose her life because of the deal that was made with the first Pyro Archon and the sustainer of the Heavenly Principles. Before you say it, Malfuika would not have risked the fight against the Heavenly Principles. Renova can get help from the other Shades and say that Malfuika stole Renova's power, of which at least 3 Shades would be fighting against Malfuika. Or worse, do the same thing, but say it to the first Descender. Either way, both scenarios is an automatic L, with the consequence of Natlan being destroyed. So she would not risk it, even if she could fight against the Heavenly Principles. So Malfuika is in the discussion, even though she didn't even bother to try in the story. I'm not going to go over everyone, but I am going to list them out. Alice, the Doctor, the Knave. Before I end the video off, I now have to ask the question, how powerful is Tartag? Because when we see him in Fontaine, he doesn't have his vision, which nerfs him immensely, seeing as visions offer passive buffs, which includes resisting negative status effects, which would improve his stamina while using his delusion and foul legacy. The only reason why the whale was repelled in the first place is because Tartag intervened after multiple days of fighting it. Remember, Nervalette didn't even want to fight the whale after he saw it once. With the imagery that was presented after Tartag's trial, Nervalette and Tartag would have had a tooth and nail fight, with Tartag winning in the end. It's safe to say that Tartag is Archon level, but Archon level is fodder to Skirk, the 4 Shades, much less the first Descender. And with that concludes Power Up Characters in Genshin Impact Part 4. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and as always, have a wonderful day.